Are you guys ready? Get your wiggles out. Get your questions ready. We're just about to meet the authors.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello from Indiana in the United States.
Hola from Puerto Rico.
Hello from Nigeria.
Hello from Serbia. Hello from Egypt.
Hello from India.
Hi from Georgia.
Hello from Los Angeles, and welcome to the thousands of kids, parents, and teachers watching us today from around the world. My name is Francesco Sedita from Penguin Random House, coming to you from the Microsoft Technology Center in California. We are so thrilled to be here today to bring you this special broadcast in celebration of Skype in the Classroom's Literacy Month. We want to hear from you, so send us any questions you have through the chat tool to the right or via Twitter at #SkypeToLearn. We'll try to answer as many questions as we can. Now, without any further delay, let me introduce to you some friends of mine, authors Henry Winkler and Lynn Oliver.
Hi.
Hi, guys.
Nice to be
Lynn.
here. Hi, Henry. So
are
nice
you?
to see you. I'm good.
Nice to see them.
Beautiful.
Hi.
So you guys have worked together for almost 10, or we've worked together for almost 10 years.
Yes.
You guys have worked together for how long?
2003.
Yes, 15 beautiful, lovely,
15
happy
beautiful years.
I could not
years.
figure that out. I just knew it was 2003.
I'm the math guy.
And you're the co-authors of the Hang Zipser series,
Yes,
which
we are.
is a TV series in the UK and now in the US.
Right. Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank
Thank you.
So we know that the character in the books is based really on you and your childhood, Henry, and how you had so many struggles learning to read
Right.
and write. Can you guys talk a little bit about how that idea came to be and how it sort of inspired Hank and all of these fantastic books that you've written?
Somebody, a wonderful man by the name of Alan Berger, not just somebody, suggested to me that I write books about my dyslexia. So he then introduced me to Lynn. Lynn and I had lunch. The fish was horrible, but the meeting was great. And I started to tell Lynn about my life at the table.
And I was so moved by Henry's story because he can't say it himself, but Henry is one of the icons of show business. And here he had reached that pinnacle, and yet he felt very insecure about his own inabilities to learn.
Sure.
And so that was so moving to me that I was immediately taken in by that and thought, we need to create this character, Hank, who is smart, like
Resourceful.
him, and intelligent like him, creative like him, funny like him, and yet has, you can pay me afterward, and yet has learning challenges.
Because I literally am in the bottom 3% academically in America. Math was hard, English was hard, I cannot spell even today. I was great at lunch.
And still is, I might add.
Yeah, I like lunch. I'm a good eater.
Well, so let's talk about that for 1 second. So you eat terrible fish together.
Yes.
You have the idea for Hank.
Right.
And so and now we're so many books later, 15 years later, what does it look like when you work together? What does that day look like?
I drive from my house across the city. I go to Lynn's office. Lynn's office is very near Paramount Studios, where they make all those wonderful movies. I sometimes get us coffee.
He usually brings some very delicious treats from a wonderful bakery nearby, so we start our day in a happy mood.
Well, yes. And then I sit in a chair, in a rocking chair, and finally, after 15 years, Lynn has gotten me a comfortable cushion. It was a little tough on my tushy.
Which he complains about for 15 years. And you're actually not that happy with this cushion either.
I'm not bad with this cushion.
Okay, good.
Because I took a cushion from another place in your office. Now I have two cushions. So I sit there in the rocking chair. Lynn sits at the computer. I start talking. Lynn types. Lynn has an idea. I stop talking. Lynn types. Lynn reads back to me what we have both come up with, and then we argue over every word.
Well, argue is a tough word. I think we debate.
We debate.
We have spirited debates.
We have spirited debates.
We respect each other.
Yes, we do.
We disagree with each other.
Yes, we do.
And eventually, one of us wins.
And then, at the end of the day, we have 4, 6, 8 pages that never existed before.
Right?
And at the end of about 3 or 4 months, there is a whole book. It is, we have written 29 books together, Hank Zipser, and here's Hank. Every single one, when we finish, is so touching to me, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
When we get the final book, Henry opens up the box, picks up the book, smells it,
Yes, I do.
and holds it to his heart.
Yes, I do. And I used to rub it all over my body.
Well, it's clear, so working together is also something that we see in the Hank books as well. So obviously you guys working together has really influenced how Hank works with his friends. What are some of the main messages that you guys try to communicate in the books?
I will tell you, one of them is, it does not matter how you do in school. It does not matter if school is difficult for you. Your mind, your thoughts are brilliant. Your imagination is brilliant. And your grades in school do not define you.
And furthermore, each person, each human being on this earth has his or her own fingerprint. Each of us is unique and special. And what our job is as human beings is to look inside ourselves, find what we're good at, what we love to do, and then put that out into the world. Sometimes that's based on reading and how you do in school. Sometimes it's based on other talents, art or music. Sometimes it's based on who you are as a feeling person, being a great friend or loving your family. So each of us, our job is to do what we're good at and to do the best we can with it.
And here it is. Every single one of you watching today, being with us today, you know what you're great at. And we don't all have to be doctors. We don't have to be lawyers. We don't have to be electricians. We can be anything because the world needs every single thing you're good at if we're going to remain a wonderful world.
Wow. Oh my God, guys, that's really great.
That's true.
I know, it's true. And you know, hearing you say it is just so special. And I think, you know, you can feel it in every single one of the books that you've written. And I think that the students out there really can relate to that. And you know, over the past few weeks, we've been getting lots of questions from students around the world. So I thought maybe we could answer a few right now.
Oh, we'd love to hear
We would
from
love
them.
to.
Yeah.
All right, so the first one is a question from the United Kingdom.
Hello, my name is Eve, and I'm 5 years old from Danesfield School in England. My question is, how many books did you write, and which one is your favourite?
That was a wonderful question. We have written how many books together?
Well, we have written 32 books together. 31 of them are available out in the marketplace, and the 32nd is coming out in the fall.
In next September.
Yes.
Now, do I have a favorite? I don't have a favorite. I think every time we write a book, every time a new one comes out, I go, this is it. This is the best one. And then we write another one, and I think, this is it. This is my favorite. It's like my children. I have 3 wonderful children, and I can't tell you which one is my favorite. But you don't have favorites.
What I have are favorite characters in the books.
Who are they?
Well, Hank, because he's based on you.
Yes.
And I love Ashley, and I
Ashley,
love
too.
Frankie.
Can I just say one thing? Ashley and Frankie are his best friends, Hank's best friends. They are not dyslexic, but they love Hank. They take care of Hank. They try to protect him.
And
Go ahead.
that's why I love them, because what I love is friendship. And I hope all of you do too. It's the best thing in the world to have friends who love you, whom you love, and whom we accept for who they are. So,
Okay, so just accepting who they are. So if you see somebody in your class or somebody in your school who's having trouble, and you don't have trouble, so you can either make fun of them, which makes them feel horrible, or you can say, you know what? I know how to help that kid. I know how to make that subject easier for that kid. You feel good. They feel good. Everybody feels good. I will feel good.
So we have another question from a 3rd grader.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Sean from New York. And my question is,
Does all the funny parts in your story actually happen in real life?
Well, that's a great question, Sean. We write fiction, and fiction is when you make up stories. So not everything happened in real life, but fiction comes from real life experiences. I'll give an example. Maybe you want to give an example.
Maybe I do, maybe I don't.
Okay, well, we're all waiting to see. One of our books is called Here's Hank, and the title is Stop That Frog. And in it, Hank brings the principal's frog home for the weekend.
Or
And
the headmaster.
The headmaster.
Yes.
Yes.
Head teacher.
And the frog, he loses the frog. It's the headmaster, the principal's favorite pet, and Hank loses it. So in my family, we had a little frog when my oldest son was very, very little. The frog's name was Car Cake. It's a strange name.
That is a weird name.
I have a weird child,
Yeah.
but I love him nonetheless.
Car Cake.
Car Cake, one
A
got...
cake you only eat in the
in the
car.
car. We don't know how it happened. It happened. There
Okay.
it is on the record.
Okay.
One morning we woke up and Car Cake had gone to the great pond in the sky.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean?
I do.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
My son was very little at the time, and we didn't know how to break the news to him. So we told him that Car Cake
Ate
had
too
jumped.
much cake.
That Car Cake had jumped out of his tank and hopped out of the house and was living in a puddle down the street. When I told Henry that story, he said, we should put that in a book. So then, months later, here is a book called Stop That Frog about Hank, who loses a frog and thinks he's living in a puddle down the street. It's not exactly true, but it starts with something
No,
true.
he finds a gum wrapper in the puddle. He finds a nickel in the puddle, but not the frog. And Sean, I just want to say, I'm from New York too. Go New York!
Henry, do you have a favorite?
I don't. I love these books. I never thought that I would be able to write a book in my whole life. And because of my meeting Lynn and my friendship with Lynn and our partnership, we have written all these books together. It's one of the great accomplishments of my whole life.
Yeah.
I was always told that I would never achieve,
Right.
that I was stupid, that I was lazy, I was not living up to my potential. But inside, I knew that can't be true. I'm not stupid. And here we are.
Wow.
Watch out, he's going to start rubbing a book against his sweater again.
So now we have actually another question for you both from a student in India.
Hi, I'm Srija from Redfield School, India. I would like to know what talent need to be a good writer and how do you learn to be a good writer?
It's a good one.
That is a great question. I'm assuming that you would like to be a writer. So the main talent that you need is imagination. And the great news is every single one of you has a great imagination. You just need to learn to use it and to feel free to use it. And also, you need to practice. Everything that you ever will be good at comes from practice. So if you use your imagination and practice using it and practice creating stories, you're going to be great.
I'll tell you one more thing that I've learned from Lynn. When we write, don't edit until you're done. Just write whatever is coming to your mind, and you will then read it back and you will see, oh, I don't need that sentence. Oh, I love this sentence. Oh, I need to add to this sentence. If you want to be a writer, that means that you have wonderful stories to tell. Bingo.
And sometimes I think you need something to get you started. And a great way to get things started.
Bar.
A candy
Okay,
bar
that's what
is
I'm
really
saying.
good.
A Milky Way
A
will
Milky
start
Way is
your
really
book
good.
off like great.
Also, I think when you find people to work with and write with, and writing contests, in your country are a great way to start. Here in the U.S., I know you guys just announced Roald Dahl's Imagine Norma's Challenge.
Right.
Penguin and Microsoft are so proud to be sponsoring this contest. Can you tell us a little bit more about how that works?
Okay. All you have to do is write 100 words about your idea. Just what you would like the book or the musical or the story to be. And then Lynn and I are going to judge the literate part, the literacy part. So you will write 100 words, anything that comes to your mind about a story you'd like to tell. We will pick a winner, and the winner, this is amazing, gets their own ebook published.
So awesome. I love it.
We're really excited to see all the ideas that come in and to get inside the imagination
Yeah.
of all of these wonderful kids.
That's great. Okay, we have another question, and this one is for you, Henry.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Benny Auslander. I live in Carmel, Indiana. And did other kids treat you differently because you had dyslexia?
Benny Ben, that is a great question. Let me say that I went to a all-boys school. It was a private school. I wore a blue blazer, gray slacks, a tie every day. And I was in the bottom of my class. So some kids bullied me in that I was not great at geometry. I took geometry for 4 years, same course. I did not graduate with my class. I didn't get my diploma. I got it in the mail. I finally passed geometry summer school of my senior year in high school. Here's the thing. That was 1963. Nobody since 1963 until today has ever said the word hypotenuse to me. Here, you know, whether you have a learning challenge or not, you know you've got power, you are powerful, and you are smart, and you are wonderful, Benny Ben.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I think so many of us have dealt with things in school that have felt really challenging. And I think, you know, a lot of our viewers today feel that. I think we have hard times in school, or we see our friends struggle with their work at times. And I think one of the things that I love so much about the series here is that we have really watched you guys explore how Hank is surrounded by a community that helps him, and how he uses creativity to solve problems that, you know, he feels really stuck with. And you know, there are a lot of great tools out there, you know, to help kids who have these challenges. And one of them, and we're so proud of this, is the font that is used in the Here's Hank series. So I thought maybe you could talk a little bit about that. So for everybody out there, a font is a way that the letters are printed on a page.
So this is Here's Hank, and I will just open the book here so that you can see what a page looks like. So you can see what we're trying to do is make the page really friendly to your eyes so that reading doesn't feel like a challenge, so that you can focus on what's inside the book, the ideas and the emotions, and not on just the letters. So this font is called Dyslexy, and it was created by a father who was also a typesetter who had children who were dyslexic. And so it's accommodating for people who have difficulty actually discerning the letters. So for instance, the spacing is nice and wide. The letters are weighted a little bit more heavily at the bottom so they don't float up off the page. The ascending strokes, like in T's and F's, are taller, and the descending strokes, like in J's, go lower. So it makes the whole experience of reading much easier for you, and your eyes can relax, and you can focus on the wonderful part of reading, which is the ideas, the humor, the story, and the emotions.
Absolutely.
You know, and here's the great thing. This is international, because the dad lives in Holland. And here we are in America using this wonderful font. I wish I had it when I was growing up.
It would have made reading much easier.
Oh
for
my
you.
goodness! Because all the close words and the words on the page, and they would all start to swim, and I would get tired. I would fall asleep after a paragraph.
What about now? What about reading now?
Reading is a little easier. I can read thrillers. I like to read suspense. Somehow my mind picks that up, and every book that I have read now is on my shelf like a triumph.
Yeah, yeah. You know, technology is making it easier to read for so many of you out there watching us today. And at Microsoft, they created Microsoft Learning Tools. And it can help you space out the words on a page or change the color of the page. You can even have it read aloud to you when you need it. And so what's nice about these kind of free technologies is that it allows students to stay in the classroom. And I think, obviously, when you were a kid, this would have changed your whole experience.
Because you know what I finally read, with my children, I would always say, oh, you can't listen to the radio when you're reading and whatever it is. And then I realized maybe the radio was making a funnel of sound so that my son could go into that funnel and learn. And technology how wonderful it is. It doesn't matter how you read. All that matters is you get the information.
Yeah, absolutely. It's sort of like putting on glasses after you haven't been able to see for a long time. And I think that's what's so incredible about the font, about what we're talking about with the Microsoft tools. I just think it's such a wonderful thing for kids in the classroom.
And I could just say this too for parents and teachers. I don't have a reading difficulty, but I love the idea of being able to alter the page, change the font, and just make it a more pleasant experience for my eyes.
For the individual, yeah.
So even if you don't have a learning challenge, the ability to alter what's on the page and have it something that suits you is a huge advantage.
Absolutely, absolutely. We have a few more questions from students.
Good.
Our next question is from one of our viewers in Wales in the United Kingdom.
Hi, my name is Chen and I'm 10 years old and I go to Ysgol Gynradd Gymraeg y Logan Fach in Wales. Me and my friends love writing short stories, but this time we're writing a longer story, but we're struggling with beginning the story. If you have any advice on beginning a story, that would be great. Thanks.
So here's the thing that this is a little writer's trick. We say to ourselves, begin on the day that's different. What that means is that you start a story, you have a character for the story. You start a story on the day something changes for the character. You know, remember when you were little and someone would tell you a story, they say, once upon a time there was a dinosaur. One day, and when you hear that one day, that means now we're starting the story. One day, a giant comet came out of the sky and headed directly towards the dinosaur's cave. Now we have a story because on that day, one day, something different happened. So if you think about that, who is your character and what is happening on that day at the beginning of the story that's going to make that day different, that will give you a place to start. One other thing, and that is you're going from short stories to longer stories, and that's hard because short stories have a beginning and an end. Longer stories have a middle, and all of us have problems with sagging middles. Nothing personal. Not you, of course.
No.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what a great answer.
Thank you.
That was really great. I want to tell you also, you know, we had a story where Hank and his friends, Frankie and Ashley, they started a magic business. You know, Frankie is a magician. Okay, and there was a party that they wanted to be the act at, the entertainment, but Harry the Clown was hired. So Lynn came in and she said, I know how to start the story. Great news! Harry the Clown has diarrhea. And we were off and running, and they, Hank and his friends, Frankie and Ashley, were hired as the entertainment for that party.
Yeah, diarrhea is a day that's different.
I'll tell you, because poor Harry had to go home.
Yep.
We have time for one more question today, but please remember to send your questions in the chat here or via Twitter for Henry and Lynn to answer just following the broadcast. This question is from Nigeria.
Okay.
Hello, Mr. Henry and Mrs. Lee. My name is Coolio Lula, and hello from Nigeria. I think of a lot of things that are fun and interesting, but how do I know if I should share those ideas with others, or if others would be interested in my ideas?
Okay, I'd like to answer this just for a moment. I want to tell you something right now. We've never met. I don't know you. I can tell you your ideas are great. Your ideas are interesting. Your question is fantastic. Here, you don't know until you try. You have to have the courage to try. You put it out there. Sometimes, you know, I am an actor and I do comedy. And sometimes when you're trying to be funny, you don't know whether it's funny or not, and you've just got to throw it out there like dice. And then it works or it doesn't work. You go on to another idea. But I'm telling you right now, your ideas, I can't wait to hear them or see them or read them one day in the world, because I know your ideas are great.
And I'm just going to add that when we heard your question,
Yes.
I could feel both of us feeling your heart. You opened your heart to us,
Yes.
and you said, I have things to share. And that's what writers do. That's what artists do. And that's what people should be doing with each other. Opening your heart and sharing your wonderful ideas. And I can't wait to hear them.
Yeah. What a great question.
Thank you so much for being with us today for this Skype in the Classroom event. Before we end, we want to give you a chance to take a selfie with the authors. So get your cameras ready and everyone gather around the screen in your classroom or at home. We'd love to see your pictures from today if your parents or teachers can share them on social media. All right, guys, so let's get ready for this.
That
all
was
right?
just, I loved hearing from the kids.
I mean, it was just so great.
What brilliant
Great
questions.
and like the worldwide thing, I think,
Right,
is so,
and
so
amazing,
amazing.
that
Yeah.
we can
Makes
be
us
here in
happy.
Los Angeles.
Makes us happy that we
And
have
talk
readers
to
all over the world.
everybody.
Yeah,
And
it's
your answer
amazing.
about starting a story is just one of my favorite answers you've ever given.
One
so
day.
Beautiful. One day is what changes it all, right?
And it all comes from Henry's story being a true story, so
Yeah.
everyone feels the heart in it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, let's get ready.
You know,
Okay,
Let's
that's
grab
what
some
I wanted
books.
to say, that the emotion is true. The comedy is exaggerated.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right, is everybody ready? Let's do this. Henry, will you count us down, please?
Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Say cheese.
Here's Hank.
Say cheese pizza. Say
I love
cheese and pepperoni pizza.
I don't like pepperoni.
Don't say cheese and pepperoni pizza.
Thank you so much for joining us for this global event, and we'll soon be starting the live Twitter chat to answer more questions. If you enjoy live learning experiences, your class can connect with authors, scientists, animal experts, and so many more all year long through Skype in the Classroom, so be sure to have your teacher check out all of the adventures. Henry and Lynn will be on Twitter shortly.
Yes.
So please continue to send your questions because we're going to try to answer as many as we can. You guys, thank you so much for being
Thank
here.
you. Bye for
thank
now.
You
Thank
for
you
being
for being
here.
here.
We'll see you on
Bye.
Twitter.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Take care.
Good work.
Reading was hard for my brain.
Some people laugh whenever I read sometimes.
It highlights the words to know where I am.
And it's easy to focus on.
Now I can read 50 words a minute. I was proud of myself.
With technology and education, possibility becomes reality.
I want to read every book in here.